It's your boy Sean T. I'm sitting here with Thizzler right now. Make sure you subscribe below. That album right there, of course it's my baby, but that album right there had a lot of meaning to it because I did some time in jail. And basically I wrote that album in jail. So everything that's on that album is about what was going on in the world, what was going on in jail, what was going on life in the streets, and everything in East Palo Alto was just like it was kind of like a biography of my life at that point, you know, at that time. So it's real controversial and political and what I want to say, like, it's kind of like on a Public Enemy type vibe, that album. Kind of like it really was like a mistaken identity, like kind of reminds me of like stuff that's going on right now. It was a celebration for Martin Luther King. They call it like the Freedom Train or something like that. So where everybody in every city gets on a train and they ride to San Francisco and celebrate Dr. King's birthday. And I did that. We was on the train. We went, celebrated everything, got back on the train. I guess somebody got robbed or something on the train or whatever. And so the police is walking up and down the train trying to figure out who's the people that did the robbery or whatever, I don't know. So I'm sitting there and they come up to me and then the dude is like, that's the one that robbed me. You know what I'm saying? So now that kind of explains what my album was about. It's like injustice, you know what I'm saying, for a black man, for a young black man. I was like 18, I think. I just turned 18. So it was like an injustice for me. Like, I'm on the Freedom Train trying to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King, and now I'm going to jail. Now I'm going to the penitentiary for a robbery that I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what happened. I only did a year. I did a year, but and then I finally I took it to trial, and I won, and then they let me off or whatever. But I still did the year or whatever. So it still was kind of, and it was an injustice because it took me. I was like in my final year in high school. All kind of stuff like happened. That was a crazy experience, but you know what made me grow, and it turned me into a man, and it let me know that living that street life and being on the streets and all of that, it don't even matter whether you win it or not. At any point in time, you could be taken off the streets for something that you didn't even do. So, you know, it was a humbling experience, definitely. East Palo Alto, we had a thing called Get Gone back in the day. Everybody used to, when you said you was getting gone, you was getting drunk, basically, or getting toe up back in the day, what we used to say, or just getting gone. Getting gone was drinking or smoking or whatever. So that's what the whole title of the song meant. But later on, after I left Murder One Records, I decided to start a label. That saying like just fit well with me. That was like one of my favorite songs. That was one of the songs that everybody knew. I had a video that was kind of like that was in the G-Funk era at that time too. So it was kind of like a Snoop, you know, like at that time Death Row was coming up, all of that stuff. So it was like a picnic type vibe with everybody's chilling and hanging, getting gone. So I was like, I'm gonna take this title and just make this my record label, you know? And that's how that came about. Still to this day, Get Gone Records going strong. What happened with that is, I guess it was just time to move on. Like the label wasn't moving the way that it used to move, and times were changing, and like the CEO, he wasn't really into it anymore. He basically was like, Sean, I'm about to quit. I'm about to quit this music stuff. I'm moving into another lane. So do what you want to do, man. You're free to do whatever you need to do. And at that point, I was like, I'm not ready to stop doing music, so I'm gonna get out here, get my shine on, promote myself, and make something happen. And it happened fast too. It wasn't that long after I left the label, and I started my own label and started, as I go, figure out how to do a label, how to control a label, how to do promotion, what do I have to do to press up CDs, or all of that. I had to figure out all that on my own. And ran into E-40, you know what I'm saying? And they needed some production. So basically that was the first artist that ever put me on as far as production was E-40. You know, and at that time it was Sugar T and the Mossy and the Click. They were working on projects, and I started producing projects for them. And at that point, from then on, then I got a publishing deal from Jive Zamba, and that took it to a whole nother level, you know. So now I'm producing for, submitting songs for major artists, doing songs for the Click, Sick With It Records, and from there it just took off. Once everybody heard the Silly Cell song for the Skrilla and all that I did with Be Legit, him and Be Legit, and Sugar T, fucking around with Sugar, with Mystic and Conscious Daughters, it just took off from there. Now everybody wants production, so, you know. Well, back then, I mean, that was a good movement. It was a good movement, man. Like everything has some funk influence stuff to it. You know what I'm saying? When it was mobbing, you had nice fat bass lines and 808s and synthesizers and stuff like that, and good lyrics, stories. It's a little different now. Like people, what they call it mob now, I don't really consider that mob. I don't know what to call it, but it's not really mob to me. I just call it, that's the music that they're doing right now. It kind of has mob influence, but I don't really call it mob. You know what I'm saying? But it's a different time, it's a different day. Nowadays, it's not about what you're talking about. It's gimmicky. It's kind of like, I want to hear the hook, and I don't care what you say on the verse, just as long as the hook is catchy, and I want you to come back to the hook real fast. I don't want no long verses. Back in the day, we used to do 24-bar verses, you feel me? Like 3 of them, you know what I'm talking about? Like, it's crazy, it's just a different time and a different era. Now it's about attention catching, and that's it. It's not about the content of the music of hip hop, you feel me? Dr. Dre, of course. I like Kanye West, Dr. Dre. Let me see. Just Blaze, and even from like the West Coast, like there's a lot of LA influenced producers like Crazy Tunes and Sir Jinx, cause like I'm a Cube guy, you know, like I came up on Cube. That was like one of my favorite artists back in the days, Ice Cube, so. But yeah, man, like it's a big open market for me as far as production, because I like producers from the South too. I like don't know. Yeah, I like a whole lot of people, man. It would be too much to put out there, you know. But my main influence was Dr. Dre, pretty much. That's who I followed. Like, oh, DJ Quick too. I can't forget Quick, because Quick is like that musical genius too that I always felt. I did a lot of stuff for the game. Like, that was a whole crazy experience in itself. Like, it's a trip. There's a lot of people that I've worked with that have like taken off, like after they done stuff with me or we worked together. Like with Game, JT brought him to me. JT the bigger figure. Shout out Fig. Found him somewhere at a convention or something in, I want to say South Central. I think it was just LA somewhere. There was some type of convention. And he called me. He was like, Sean, I got this artist out here. He raw. Man, I'm finna bring him back to the Bay. I was like, he's like, I need you to make some beats for him or whatever. I want to do an album. I was like, bring him. So he brought him to my house. I heard him rap. First thing I gathered when I heard him rap, I was like, he sounded like Shine. You know, it's like the artist Shine. So I was like, he dope though, but he from Compton? He's like, yeah, he from Compton. I was like, he sounded like he from the East Coast. You know, he had like an East Coast style, which later on I found out his influences were Jadakiss, Nas. There's another dude that's from Jadakiss's clique. I can't think of his name right now. Nah, he's not in the immediate clique. He was like, he just did mixtapes. No, what's the dude's name? I can't even think of his name right now. It's crazy. Part of D-Block or something. Yeah, he was part of D-Block, but he was a metaphorical like dude, like that used a lot of metaphors. And he always, J Hood. So J Hood, Nas, and Shine, that was like his influences. You know what I'm saying? So we started working, and I think he spent like a couple of months just sleeping on my couch. You know what I'm saying? And we just worked every day. And we put the Untold Story together. And that was history after that. Like, we put that together. Baron Davis was involved. He somehow got the record to Dr. Dre, and as soon as Dr. Dre heard it, that was it. He was signed. He was like, yeah, I want him. So him and JT did their little negotiations. I did my negotiations with the production, and went from there. That was it. You know what I'm saying? Blew up. I used to work with Keisha, and when she wasn't, nobody didn't know her, she had just did like a few songs maybe. Like, I think she was working with Messy Marv on a few hooks and stuff like that. And I did like a couple of tracks for her, and she was finding herself at that time, you know what I'm saying? And I would talk to her, and we would chop it up and all that. And then she went on and did her thing too, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and still to this day, I got a good relationship with Keisha. I haven't talked to her in a while, but we was always on that level, you know what I'm saying? I always looked out like, you should do this, you should do that, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's a lot of producers and stuff that came from under me that's coming up now and doing their thing. And I'm not one of those people that try to take recognition for stuff. I'm like real humble. Like, whoever I help, that's who I help, you know what I'm saying? I give you game, I'm gonna give you that knowledge, and I'm gonna share what I know so you can get to where you gotta get, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I am. And I don't never ask for nothing in return either, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody always, man, why Game ain't do this or why? It's like, why you wasn't on the album with Dre and all that? I'd be like, man, I ain't worried about that. I did what I did and I'm happy for him. He did his thing. I got what I got out of the deal, you know what I'm saying? And JT got what he got out of the deal and let's move on. Let's do it for somebody else now. You know what I'm saying? So.